Hey you guys, welcome to Frozen Fiction. Today I'm going to be doing my mid-March wrap-up. I think that's what it's called. I'm not really sure. But this is my mid-March video. Today I'm going to be talking about the books I've already read this month, which would be Stolen by Most de la Cruz, which is on my TBR, and then I read Golden, which is the sequel, or not the sequel, it's the book after that, it's book number 3. And then I read Evermore, which is number 5 in Seven More Chill series. So I will be talking about those two today. I know I read Falling Completely too, but I didn't take notes on it, so I'm not really talking about it, and I don't really have that much to say. It was just one of those quick reads. And I don't really have that much to say. It was just one of those quick reads. So Stolen was number 2 inside of the Heart of Jed series, and Golden was number 3. The main setting of these stories is like the apocalyptic world, and the world is pretty much covered in ice, and then you have like these domes that are warm, and you have all this special technology to keep you warm, but only like the really rich can afford to be warm, and then everyone else is just kind of living like day-to-day cold. And then it's hard to find food too, because like if it's not warm and everything's covered in ice, not much is gonna grow. So like, yeah, starving sucks. There's kind of like the military kind of like took over, and they're like, oh yeah, we'll protect you guys. And it's kind of like magic is the bad side of this, and like the military is like, oh yeah, we're okay. So magic is kind of like the bad side, like, okay. So most common people perceive magic as evil in the story, and then like the army and like this dictatorship that they have is good. But the main character, Nat, is a dragon rider, and she is kind of like on the side of magic, and the magic side, they have a queen, and then there's like the queen's consort who is like a mentor to Nat. Are kind of like, the spell failed because the world was so polluted when we tried to like save it that it brought on this like massive ice age. And I just realized I talked about the spell, but I didn't tell you guys what the spell did. So it started with Atlantis, and once things get bad, they try to do the spell over again, and it pretty much like resets the world. And then after Atlantis, there was Avalon, now there's Apis. And when they tried to do the fourth spell, it didn't work. And that brought on the giant ice age. Yay! So in the first book, Nat meets up with Wes, and they go on this big adventure to find the blue. He's kind of Nat's love interest, and he leaves her after the first book to go find his sister. So this is like on the trip to find the sister, and then their paths collide again. Oh, okay. And then everyone with magic is known as marked, and pretty much they take these people who are like with magic and put them in like pretty much insane asylums, but like not quite, because they do like testing on them. It's the military, and they just do all these horrible tests to them, and if you do have magic, you try to keep it on the low key, and if the military finds you, like there's once the military is done testing on these marked, they're pretty much sent off to the high temple to be sacrificed to the high priestess. I think she's called the high priestess of the white. So it's pretty messed up. It's not a fun world to live in. This is why, like, when people ask, like, what dystopian world do you want to live in? None of them. They all sound horrible. And then Nat, being a dragon rider, she's kind of like the last dragon rider. So she's pretty much prophesized to save Apis and to save the world. So she's like taking this on herself, and then Wes is just kind of like tagging along, but his like main goal is like, I gotta find my sister, gotta find my twinsy. They're like together, but they're not. I don't know, it's kind of weird. If your question is, do I ship them? I think that they're, I don't know. I didn't like their romance very much. It was like, oh, I can't live without this person, like I'm gonna sacrifice myself all the time. And it's like, there's obviously option 3, why doesn't anyone take it? And then it was just a giant struggle. Like, they were so like trigger happy to like sacrifice themselves all the time, and it was just, I didn't appreciate their love that much. The next book I read was Evermore, which is book number 4 in the oh my lord. Okay. The next book I read was Evermore, which is book number 4 in the Mertale series. This book did a very good job of like catching you up. More so than a lot of YA that I've read. It was very good for that, which is I really appreciated, because I haven't read like 1, 2, 3 in like forever, and it wasn't something I was gonna go back and reread. So there's okay. Tickles so bad. Okay, so you have 2 main characters, Ash and Finn. Both are full-blooded mermaids, mermen, mers. I don't know. Both are full-blooded mers. And then they're trying to get married, and then Ash finds out she's pregnant, and it's just like apparently mermaid gestation. It's like 6 weeks instead of 9 months. So they like are trying to rush this wedding, and Finn promised to build Ash a house for their wedding so they could live somewhere once they're like married, hitched, however you want to say, together. So like they're just like trying to rush this wedding, and there's a lot of friction between the humans and the mers in the series. Backstory: Ash is a full-blooded mermaid, but she grew up on land with like human adoptive parents, and she was like kind of switched out like a changeling in like any troll story you read. And then whoever her adoptive parents' child was turned into a mer. So she grew up with them, and she's trying to like keep this balance without letting her like human parents know that she's a mermaid, while they're trying to appease her birth mother, who is like queen, and then she has like 4 mer sisters, and it's just like, what is going on? And all this time Ash is trying to finish high school and, you know, graduate, because that's kind of important. So it's just like really stressful on her. And then before she like got turned mayor, she didn't necessarily get turned mayor, but like it was always in her, but it was never like awakened. She was going to be like an Olympic swimmer. So now she's dealing with like this conflict where she's like has all these dreams that she used to have, and then she doesn't know where she stands anymore because she can't be an Olympic swimmer if she's a mermaid, because like her pee and blood samples aren't going to be pure. They're going to be like tainted with her mer whatever genes. I don't know what to call them. And then all through this wedding drama, Ash is being like stalked. So Finn is going all, oh, I gotta protect my mate, I'm a strong manly man, and like of course Ash is like flipping out like, oh my god, I gotta protect my child, finish school, do all this other crap, which is just like loading on top of her. So she's just like a step away from panicking the entire time, and it's just, it's like kind of irritating, but at the exact same time I get it, because that's how I am. So I can't really say anything and be very hypocritical of me. That's that book. And then it's just them trying to get married and deal with all the other crap on the side. So next I'm going to be rereading Mythos Academy, because Jennifer Estep, as I said earlier, but I won't shut up about it because I'm so freaking excited. Jennifer Estep said that she would be writing a spin-off series on a character introduced later. So I am going to be rereading the entire series. This is what I'm doing next. I know I still have Sisters of More left, but I'm kind of pushing that off because I really want to read these. So like, sorry but not sorry. Yeah, these are my precious. As you can see though, it's like kind of like falling apart. I feel like the spine's gonna break because I've read it so many times, and I've tried so hard to keep it like new, and it's not working. So it makes me kind of sad. I might have to buy an entire new series just so I can have like a nice series for myself, and then like one to lend out to everyone else. That's sad. If only I had room to do that. I started taking some notes too, but by now I've pretty much memorized it, so it's taking me like a long time to go through and nitpick the details that I want to bring up. because like I love this book so much. It's my baby. So yeah, and I started filming for my When Frost week where I dress up like her. So this is day 1. I look like crap, but that's okay. Also, I put makeup on for this video and I'm kind of regretting it. I'm excited to take it off. Also, I might have like overreached a little bit. This month might actually be a little bit slower than I thought because I'm part of the school musical doing costumes. I sew a lot too. So I have to like skin a dragon, but not like take off dragon skin. I guess it's like reskinning, so I have to like put skin on a dragon, like a giant dragon puppet. It's like 21 feet long. So yeah, it's a struggle. So doing that, it's taking up so much time, so I might have overreached my boundaries. Like, it's March 7th when I'm videotaping this, and it's probably not going to be up to the 20-somethings. Just getting time to edit. So, I apologize for that, you guys. I'm sorry, I'm super busy. I mean, I don't know what else to say. If you have any suggestions or anything you'd like to see me do, please comment below. Subscribe if you like this video or give it a thumbs up. Yeah, I think that's all I have to say. I'm not really sure. I'm probably gonna remember something I'm probably gonna remember something in 5 minutes that I forgot to say. So, you know, it's been one of those days. So I will see you guys in a few days, hopefully.